so not good at this.
I'm Hannah and this is Liberty Gourmand, where fabulous food, neighbors, and tradition make our hearts and the planet healthier. So I'm really excited to have you join me today while I make some jalapeno cornbread, beans, and collard greens.
Here we are at dinner. Here are my collard greens and the beans and the cornbread.
Let's get started on this fabulous and actually really healthy, satisfying comfort food supper. Okay everyone, I am gonna get started with these beans here. This is a pound of pinto beans and I am cooking them in a pressure cooker. No, I do not have a famous brand name punch a button pot to auto cook stuff, but I love this stovetop one. I actually have, it came with two pots, a 4-quart and a 6-quart. I'm gonna go ahead and do it in the 6-quart because when you cook pintos from dry, or any beans, dry beans, in a pressure cooker, you need to add a lot of water that you would otherwise have soaked them in and then plus cook them in. Hello. Okay, so I've got my rinsed beans. You always want to rinse and pick over your beans, and a little over 8 cups of water in here. I think that's going to do it. Maybe I should add more water. Let me do that real quick. Okay, while the pressure cooker is coming to temperature behind me, I'm going to show you these. Which way to go? I got a couple bunches of organic collard greens here. I'm going to cook it kind of a lot because tradition, and it's going to be fine. But yeah, if you have some really great greens you want to give me and you're in the Santa Fe area, just like give me a shout and I'll tell you. We'll make a plan. I have these giant jalapenos that I got to make lots and lots of rajas with, which are like strips of chilies that you grill or fry or whatever. You get them good and brown. And I'm going to use half a bell pepper in my greens as well. I already had an older jalapeno, so I'm going to use that. I also have this serrano, which actually looks like it's still okay. So, home economics. You know, shiny firm skins on the stuff you buy, in case you're someone who doesn't know what is a food, and I have no judgment of you for that. I'm going to be putting hot sauce on just about everything. Okay folks, hey, I'm going to cut some stuff up for you here. I'm going to use half of this onion in my beans and about half of this garlic, and the other half is going to go in the collard greens. I am so not good at this. Of course, it's the first time I've done it. But hello, millennials. I'm not. You're all really good at this. Anyway, I'll get better. Okay, hope you enjoy it. I'm going to cut some stuff up now. By the way, that beep you heard was the oven coming to temperature. And I'm going to be using the cast iron skillet that I cooked the cornbread in beforehand. I'm going to toast some chipotle peppers, like whole dried chipotle peppers in them. Which are going to go into my beans, and may also use it to cook off my fresh jalapenos, which are going to go in my cornbread. Pickled ones are really good too, and I have a few pickled ones, so I might chop them up and throw them in there, but I just wanted some really like roasty, fresh jalapeno flavor for my cornbread today. Yeah, that's all. All right, let's watch me cut. I'm sure it'll be fascinating. Yes, we're home cooks. I'm really not going to worry that much about knife cuts. I know everybody watches TV. It's another saying I have on my Instagram, if you watch my Instagram. Everybody loves home ec, because you know what? Everybody loves to save money, everybody loves to eat, everybody loves to have a roof over their head and have it work, and things work, and not pay out the nose for them. And if people didn't love home ec, why else would we have such a freaking huge explosion of HGTV and Food Network and all that stuff over the past 15 to almost 20 years now, not quite. Yeah, so we're not going to have any animal products in today's meal. or any of my meals ever. If that freaks you out, I challenge you just to watch and learn and see if what I make looks good. Try it out, see what you think. This is all going to be my home cooking. I know lots and lots of cooking. I've been a professional cook in a restaurant, but I grew up as a gourmand my whole life. That basically means foodie, but I'm going to say this a million times, I hate the word foodie. So I generally don't use it. I really don't like jargon. And I feel like the whole world has been jargon now for 20 years or more, and I don't like it. But gourmand is an English word that was stolen from the French word, and they both mean basically glutton, but also like kind of a lover and appreciator of food. So basically a foodie. But my mom fed me artichokes and asparagus and stuff in the 70s and 80s when, especially like early 80s before foodie, for those of you who were born in the 80s, foodie culture really kind of got started kind of around, I would pull it down to about 86, 87 that it was hitting mainstream. And anyway, I thank my mom a lot for exposing me to a lot of different things. And I've always loved to travel, educate myself. I learn about different techniques. I've always done this. I've done this my whole life. So that's who I am. That's what I do. So there will be times that I'll use someone else's recipes, but I'll always try to give credit where credit's due. I'll probably be putting kind of my own spin on stuff. Actually, I need a monkey bowl for my garlic. Monkey bowl. Whoop whoop. Here's another monkey bowl. I have a bunch of these. Ew, that one's dirty. Gross. I blame my cat. I blame one of my cats. So these little silicone monkey bowls are, people do this, don't they? They're doing close-ups. There we go. I like them. Actually, a little more than, because I'm clumsy. So I like them more than breakable stuff for putting tiny garlic in and stuff. Now, what I heard one time, a long time ago, you can correct me if you think I'm wrong, I heard that if you chop your garlic up, no, this isn't going anywhere. If you chop your garlic up like 15 minutes at least before you use it, that the compounds that are released that are so healthy for you in garlic, that are kind of broken out of their little cell walls when you chop them up, I've heard that those stabilize and will be stable through cooking. So I always try, it could be total nonsense, but something I read like in some magazine probably 20 years ago, and I have always tried to chop my garlic early. I should ask Dr. Michael Greger about that. I wonder what Dr. Michael Greger would tell me about garlic, and he probably has a video on it. I'll search.
How much for a Sex Pistols ticket if I use remote control? Remote control.
Move along. I'm actually not even sure which stage I'm going to cook next. I did not script this. I did not plan this one. I just went, you know, I have to start recording my YouTube channel today. And what am I going to do? Because I have all these different ones written down to do, and I did the one that I was going to do first last week when I had a wonderful college friend visiting me. So I was like, I'm not going to do that again because we've all been eating that. The pressure cooker is behind me heating up, and it will, it's going to come to temperature really soon and be ready to, for the button to pop up. And then what happens is it makes like a lot of steam, and you want to turn it down to kind of medium once it does that. And that's like what they call at pressure. And then I just let it go for 20 minutes. I put on a timer, then I turn it off, and I leave it for another 20 minutes and rotate the valve to the pressure release after it's been sitting, or it will just really make a lot of steam. And then they will be done. Okay, I'm gonna go get the rest of my stuff to prep. Okay, I'm going to cut these up now, but I want you to hear the sound of the kind of unnerving bubbling sound in the background. That is the sound of too much shit in a pressure cooker. But it's going to be okay. I've done it before. It just, it's, I don't know. I probably put a little too much water, but I guarantee you it's going to be fine. I'm not wearing gloves. Yes, I will probably burn myself in the eyes later, but I try really hard not to do that. I'm just too lazy. I've been cooking with chilies my whole life of different varieties, and I just don't care. I mean, I'm just gonna wash the crap out of my hand, and I'm try to leave it in this hand, in the left one, which is not my dominant hand. I'm gonna try not to rub the eyes of any of my pets or my mom's pets either also. Okay, I'm gonna cut these up, and hopefully there's a way to do fast motion. I'm just winging it, so this is what I do. Just kind of knock the seeds out in the middle, I don't really care, like whatever. And then what we're going for, the wonderful thing, jalapenos, I mean, I think technically if you're at all a snob, which I am, jalapenos are like kind of the most boring chili in the world, but they're also kind of the best because when they smoke, when they roast, when they smoke, they develop like crazy flavor. So that's the flavor of chipotles in case you're in another part of the world. And by the way, if you're in another part of the world, I just need to tell you, I'm in New Mexico, and New Mexico is a state in the United States of America. It is not in Mexico, but like most of the people that we know in England thought it was in Mexico. So I'm just telling you, because there are also people like in Connecticut who think New Mexico is Mexico, but it's not. We're frickin' state, you guys. So anyway, there are special New Mexico chilies here. I'm going to cut these about this big, I think, as I like them to be nicely studded through the... I should have roasted them first. Dang it. I'm not thinking. It's okay. I'm going to toss them in the pan. It's all going to be good. So normally I might throw in... Like, this is like a raja strip, okay? It's like a strip of chili. And those are really good. You know, like, roll them up and serve them on basically anything. And frankly, before I stopped eating meat or anything, I still was such a big fan of all the vegetables and stuff that I love. And I would be like, oh, just give me the raja. So the serrano chili has... Or these smaller ones, they're hotter. And they have a different flavor. I mean, I guess they're also kind of boring, but they're kind of, I think like raw for raw. I think serranos are kind of better chilies. But jalapenos, the other thing about jalapenos is they're so ubiquitous that, like, you know, they're everywhere, they're grown everywhere, that you could really, I'm going to make these a little smaller because they are hotter also. And I turn them over so that you can see that let's see, this is what people do, right? You can see that the inside part is facing up, and that makes it, it's just a little easier on the knife, using a non-serrated knife on a smooth skin vegetable. Okay, folks, so this is the giant frickin' cast iron skillet. I think it's a 12-incher that I'm going to make. We also have 14-incher. But I'm going to make cornbread in here. And my recipe is for like a 10-inch skillet, but I don't care. It's going to be fine. I'm going to make, you know, I'm going to 1.5 it or something. Anyway, so I've been heating it. I put just a little tiny spray of oil. I don't really want to get into a lot of stuff, but I'm trying to put a barrier. You could do this in cast iron without any oil, people who try to avoid oil, but here's the thing. Okay, while my cast iron skillet's still hot from toasting these guys, let me see if I can block out my face and show you. I'm actually going to throw in these two chili chipotles. It just will bring out some of the flavors a little more, and then I'll let them cool for a minute, and then I'll chop them up. What I tend to do with these, they're like dry and hard, and you kind of cut through them. They usually crumble a little, but a lot of the time the seeds will sort of fall out, and I'm just going to leave the seeds out. Okay, I want to talk to you seriously about chili and this cornbread. So two tragedies. One thing, I touched myself in the face. Can you see where I'm red right here? I told you I was probably going to touch myself in the face, and it's going to be fine. I've washed my hand. But anyway, it didn't go in my eye. Ha! Knock wood. So, and it is a sad thing that I can't put the chilies in the cornbread because right now, the way my mom's been feeling, I can't ask her to pay the chili tax, as one of my very best childhood friends used to say, and I hope you're watching, Hillary. Hello, if you are, I miss you. Anyway, can't make mom pay the chili tax, so I'm gonna have to save those guys for another use. But in other sadness, since I only decided spur of the moment that this was what I was going to film today, I had not purchased or made any plant-based, like a buttermilk style thing, because buttermilk and cornbread is kind of a good idea. But what I do have, and so I'm going to be using some soy milk, and this I made, it is a Mexican crema agria made from soaked cashews and a bunch of lime juice and stuff. And I made it from Chef Eddie Garza's recipe in his vegan Mexicana cookbook that's awesome. So I'm going to be using some of that because the recipe also that I'm kind of half following has a little sour cream in it, and I think that all just makes everything delicious. So we're going to give this a try today. We're also going to use some buckwheat flour, some plain all-purpose flour, along with our cornmeal, and I'll get started on that here in just a second. Okay, so I'm going to do a technique, this is the first time I'm trying it, but it looked really good, of adding half a cup of boiling water from the kettle to, oh, that was dumb. Anyway, half a cup of this yellow cornmeal, and then there will be more cornmeal in the recipe, but you make a mush first, and I'm going to do that real quick. Okay, so here we have a mush that is boiling water and cornmeal, and then over here we have cornmeal, all-purpose flour, and underneath it all a little bit of buckwheat flour, and that's because I love buckwheat. I don't have any whole wheat flour, so I'm just going to kind of give this a stir. Actually, I need to put in my baking powder, and this here is egg replacer from, this is Bob's Red Mill egg replacer, and I'm just gonna get that wet, put in about 2 teaspoons of baking powder and these fake eggs, which will add to the leavening of everything. I'm gonna put the skillet in the oven now while I finish this up, and then put some butter in it and this corn, and then we'll be rocking and rolling. Also a little salt. I'm going to put a little salt in. I'm going to use this fancy salt. I also have some kosher sea salt, but I'm going to use this. Okay, y'all, this is my egg replacer, not the flax egg, which you can make with ground flaxseed. It's just egg replacer. And this is the cornmeal mush with my leftover sour cream and soy milk, and then here's my mixed up dry ingredients. So eggs going into wet, and that's going into that, and then I'm gonna stir it all up and put it in a very hot skillet with a little bit of fake butter in it, and then I'm gonna put it in the oven for about 20 minutes. Okay guys, you know what I love? I love a wood spoon. I'm cooking with like 3 of them right now, but I love them for mixing. I'm not like the world's greatest baker. In fact, I'm very seriously not the world's greatest baker, but this is kind of how like Mom, Grandma taught me how to mix up a lot of stuff, and I like them just plain and simple. So we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna grab that skillet out of the oven in just a sec. I'm gonna get this corn and wet mix into the dry, and I'm gonna go ahead and start stirring it now in case I have too much wet mix. Because I'm going to tell you something, you're not supposed to bake without a recipe, and you're not really supposed to wing it in baking. But that's what I'm doing, because I'm not afraid of doing that. And, you know, honestly, like my friend Julie said, what could happen? I mean, what is the worst that could happen? Is you could have a thing that was sadly not real edible, and then, you know, hey, who cares? Like, we have food. We don't have to complain. We try to make things edible so we don't waste our food, but basically it's okay. If something messes up, you learn something from your experiments. That's great. You learn something from your experiments. Alright, I'm going to get this corn mixed in here and get it in the oven. Okay, I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with the collard green now. The way I do it, I tear these things up. I don't cut. I think a lot of just traditional family recipes, we tear this up. So I haven't made collard greens in a very long time. So just like a kale, I just pulled it. You kind of fold the leaf around and pull it off the stalk. It's a little too stalky. I'm sure there are plenty of people who juice it or whatever, but not me. And then I'm just tearing them up into like bite-sized chunks and putting them into this colander. But they're just going to be cooking in liquid anyway, so I don't care if they're wet. Don't need to dry them. Okay, onward. Okay, so I've started a little saute of onion and pepper and garlic. That's about half of a small to medium bell pepper. This is going to be for the greens, and they are all chopped up over here, well torn up. And I'm going to show you, so I don't know if you can see, there we go. So there's this little Roman numeral 2, that's like your top pressure. The 1, and that's what I cooked these on. The 1 is a lower pressure, and then there's this image here is like a little steam burst. And this is to help release steam, but it's already been 20 minutes. I gave it 5 more because it's still doing that because there was so much in it. The other thing is that if something, like if your beans don't get totally cooked in a pressure cooker, you can actually, you know, just take the lid off and they will finish cooking. I mean, in that case. All right. Okay, as these are softening more, it's just about time. I'm going to do this trick that I made up in college, basically, for when I didn't have vegetable stock. It's to take a couple tablespoons of tomato paste and some soy sauce. And I actually couldn't put my hands on my soy sauce. I do have liquid amino acids, which are soy-free. They basically taste like soy sauce, though they have a lot of flavor. And they're both really concentrated flavor. And you put in a couple tablespoons of this right into a little hole there, let it get a little brown, add a little soy sauce, and then you create kind of more of a flavor base. So I'm going to do that today with my greens recipe. And then also in a kind of traditional flavor profile move, we're going to have some apple cider vinegar. I do not like sweet savory stuff as a general rule, so I'm not going to be putting any sugar in it, and I'm not going to salt it or pepper it until the end, and I'm probably going to go pretty light on that stuff and let people complete it at the table. As you can see, no ham hocks. Anyway, it's going to have some smoked paprika to make up for some of that smoky flavor that you get from a piece of smoked meat, because that would be another key part of making it taste like good collard greens. So, onwards. Okay guys, I did want to point out that I'm using the 4-quart pressure cooker, so they also have a regular lid right here that will fit on them. So you can use them. They're just a wonderful value because you know what? Everybody, let me look in the camera. Everybody loves home ec. All right, so here's my smoked paprika, and I have a lot less of it than I thought. So definitely, in fact, let's take the lid off with our left hand, one-handed. Oh man, that's like nothing. That's like maybe a teaspoon or something. But it's going in. It's smoky. It will help. And it will just add a good dimension to this. And then later, as we finish cooking it, I think I'm going to add a little more water. But maybe not. I think it's going to cook down enough. It'll be covered in its own broth pretty soon. But as it approaches the end, it's going to get some vinegar. I'm going to cook it for about half an hour, and yeah, it's going to be awesome. So at least that's what I think. You guys can try it and tell me if it's muck, all 2 of you who are watching this. I just want to mention quickly that by leaving out these smoked animal products, we are avoiding, I did not know this until about 4 months ago, we are avoiding food that was classified as a Class 1A carcinogen by the World Health Organization in the past couple years as a direct cause of cancer, and that's just one of the many benefits of only using plant products to make this. But it's going to taste delicious, which is the critical point. Okay, y'all, we are entering the home stretch, and not a moment too soon, because guess what? It is going to totally rain out there. It is raining. Power's going funny. Good thing I've got gas. So I am softening these onions. This is the other kind of half an onion I had. I'm going to be adding the garlic and the chipotle to that, and then I'm going to not use all of the beans. I'm going to take some of the beans to put them in here. They're nice and creamy now. I just let them cook without a lid for a little bit. And I'll put a little pinch of salt in them once they're in here. And then I can freeze or store the rest of the beans because everybody loves home economics. There's my collard greens, which are not quite finished, but will be soon. I'm going to take them to somebody else's house and finish them there. And I show you guys this cornbread went in the oven. It may be a little bit of a shallow cornbread, but I think it's going to be good. At 425, and I think about another 15 minutes on it, and we'll check it with a toothpick and see. Okay, I've added my garlic and my chopped 2 pretty much de-seeded chipotle chilies. They really mimic a smoked meat flavor, but I think they're way nicer, but I've always thought that about them. So having little bits of them in your stew or soup or beans is really, really nice. So now I'm going to use this here guy to take beans. Look, with my left hand I'm super clumsy, so I'm doing this, it's just a labor of love. I want to make sure my garlic is just cooked off enough. I think just a few more seconds for that. So, in case you don't know how to cook or basics, you start your onions with your, these are called aromatics, and then you let them get translucent or even start to brown, and basically when you're like at the end you put in your garlic and stir them for, you know, like 30 seconds or something, 1 minute maybe, and keep stirring it because garlic burns really quickly. And even though slightly burny onion flavor is pretty nice, but maybe I'll use all these beans, heck, I don't know. Look at that, it's working out. But slightly burny garlic flavor is just not good. So, alright, I'm going to finish this up, add a little liquid, and show you the end result. Wasteland. We're going to bring all this stuff to eat. Yeah.
Here we are at dinner. Here are my collard greens and the beans and the cornbread, and we're all probably going to have extra cornbread. And all that is, fellas, my friends, that is chipotle chili, onion, garlic, and basically scant spray of like a canola oil. There's practically no fat in these beans. Definitely no animal products, and they are amazing. And I did put salt in at the end as well, so they are fully seasoned with salt. And I need to go put butter in my cornbread now so that it will melt. Cornbread came out nice, and we're ready to rock.